Will there be any surprises in store for the Los Angeles Rams in the coming weeks? Behind the scenes, there's a lot of talk about some changes. We're talking about changes that could directly impact the team's future next season, and honestly, some of these updates aren't exactly the kind of news Rams fans were hoping to hear. Yes, my friends, we need to talk about this. From a major Week 1 schedule twist involving the San Francisco 49ers to a possible big loss within the Rams front office. And that's not all. We also need to talk about the questions surrounding the roster going forward. A lot is happening, and I'll tell you all about it. But before we delve into all of that, make sure you've already hit the like button. But only do that if you've been a Los Angeles Rams fan for more than 25 years. Maximum respect. If you've been a Rams fan for less time, you're also welcome here. Now, regardless of your age, I want you to answer this if possible. Are you excited about what Sean McVay is building with the Rams, or would you change anything? Write in the comments. Now let's get straight to the point, because the Rams are about to start the season in one of the strangest ways we've seen in years. According to reports, the Rams' Week 1 game against the San Francisco 49ers will be officially streamed on Netflix. Yes, Netflix. This game will reportedly be one of the first NFL games streamed on the platform this season. And while the league clearly sees this as a huge business opportunity, it creates a frustrating situation for fans who are already tired of searching for games on various streaming services and television packages. And honestly, this is becoming a bigger problem every year. Rams fans already have enough difficulty keeping up with the team consistently, especially nationally televised games, and now things are getting even more complicated. But if there's any silver lining to this situation, it's that Netflix is probably the streaming service most people already have. Whether it's for watching series, movies, or if you forgot to cancel your subscription months ago, you likely already have access when the Rams kick off the season against their biggest rivals. Still, the overall direction the NFL is taking regarding broadcasts seems chaotic, and fans are certainly feeling that frustration right now. But the streaming situation is only part of the problem. The Rams are also preparing for one of the most demanding travel schedules imaginable to begin the year. Reports indicate the team could be dealing with nearly 30 total hours of travel connected to their opening stretch, including the massive trip to Australia. That's an unbelievable amount of travel for any NFL team, especially this early in the season when routines and preparation are so important. Even though the Thursday night setup gives the Rams slightly more recovery time when returning to Los Angeles, there's no denying this creates a difficult challenge right out of the gate. And to make matters even more intense, it's against the 49ers. Every Rams fan knows there's never anything simple about facing San Francisco. These games are emotional, physical, stressful, and usually carry major implications for the NFC West standings. So now imagine adding international travel, schedule complications, streaming distractions, and all the pressure of opening the season under the spotlight. This is going to be one of the most talked about Week 1 matchups in the entire league. But while the scheduling news is grabbing headlines, the bigger concern for the Rams might actually be happening inside the organization itself. Because one of the key architects behind the scenes is suddenly becoming a serious candidate to leave Los Angeles. Assistant General Manager Sean McVay has officially received interest from the Minnesota Vikings, and this is not something Rams fans should take lightly. Sean McVay has quietly become one of the most respected rising executives in football. He's been with the Rams organization for nearly a decade and has climbed the ladder the old school way, earning more responsibility year after year. Starting as a scouting assistant back in 2016, he steadily worked his way through the organization, eventually becoming director of pro scouting before being promoted to assistant general manager in 2025. That kind of progression tells you everything you need to know about how highly the Rams value him internally. And what makes this situation even more concerning is how perfectly he fits what Minnesota is reportedly looking for. There has been speculation about disconnects within the Vikings organization between leadership and coaching staff. And Sean McVay's existing relationship with Kevin O'Connell immediately makes him an attractive candidate. Rams fans know exactly how important O'Connell was during his time in Los Angeles, and it's obvious there's still strong mutual respect there. Even beyond his experience, McVay comes from one of football's most respected bloodlines. His father, Rich McVay, has had an incredible NFL career, while his grandfather, John McVay, is a legendary name in USC football history. Football is deeply embedded in this family, and when you combine that background with the work Sean McVay has already done with the Rams, it's easy to understand why other teams are aggressively pursuing him. And here's the difficult reality for Rams fans. This organization has become so successful at developing talent, not just players, but coaches and executives too, that other franchises constantly come after their people. Sean McVay's coaching tree already stretches across the league, and now the front office is becoming just as respected. It's a compliment to the Rams organization, but it also creates challenges because continuity matters. Losing someone like Sean McVay could absolutely impact the long-term structure of this front office. At the same time, the Rams are also watching another potential roster target disappear off the market. The Minnesota Vikings reportedly signed Jauan Jennings for around $13 million, removing one of the more intriguing wide receiver possibilities the Rams could have explored. And while many fans may immediately react by saying that price was too high for a third receiver, the bigger issue is what this says about the Rams' current depth chart. Because let's be honest, wide receiver depth still feels like a concern. There's talent in the room, but there are still legitimate questions about who consistently steps up behind the top options. The Rams clearly trust some of their younger players, but competition is necessary, especially for a team trying to make another serious playoff run. And now, with Jennings off the board, attention naturally shifts toward other names still available. There are several veteran receivers who continue to generate discussion around the league. Stephon Diggs remains available. Keenan Allen is still an interesting possibility. Brandon Cooks has openly discussed interest in returning to Los Angeles. Even names like Deebo Samuel and Tyreek Hill continue surfacing in conversations, though those situations are obviously much more complicated. Still, the Rams cannot ignore this position forever. If they truly believe they're ready to compete with the best teams in the NFC, adding another proven playmaker could become necessary sooner rather than later. And then there's another veteran now suddenly available who might actually fit what the Rams need defensively. Kenny Moore has reportedly been granted his release from the Indianapolis Colts after previously requesting a trade. Even though he may no longer be at the absolute peak of his career, he still brings experience, versatility, and leadership. Exactly the kind of qualities Sean McVay's staff values in veteran additions. Moore's ability to contribute both at slot corner and safety makes him an especially intriguing option for a Rams secondary that still needs reliable depth and flexibility heading into the season. The Rams have built a reputation for finding smart veteran fits that strengthen the roster without completely disrupting the salary structure, and Kenny Moore feels like the type of move that could quietly become extremely valuable over the course of a long season. Especially when you consider how injuries always impact defensive back rotations in today's NFL. And what might be the most important long-term storyline of all is quietly developing behind the scenes with the Rams' 2023 draft class. Several key players from that group are now approaching major contract situations, and decisions will need to be made sooner rather than later. Puka Nacua, Kobe Turner, Byron Young, Warren McClendon, and others are all entering extremely important stages regarding their futures with the organization. The Puka Nacua situation especially stands out because everyone knows how important he has become to this offense. But there's also recognition that the Rams may want to see continued stability and consistency off the field before finalizing a massive long-term commitment. The talent has never been in question. The production speaks for itself. But these are franchise-level decisions, and the Rams front office historically approaches them very carefully. Meanwhile, Kobe Turner looks like someone the Rams may feel extremely comfortable investing in long-term after his strong performances and steady development. Byron Young's future feels less certain, while Warren McClendon could become one of those under-the-radar extensions the Rams try to complete before his market value explodes even further. There are so many moving pieces right now with this roster, this front office, and the future direction of the franchise. Some of these developments could shape the Rams not just for this season, but for the next several years. And honestly, this feels like one of the most important off-seasons Sean McVay and this organization have faced since the Super Bowl run. So now I want to hear from you, Rams fans. Which storyline concerns you the most right now? The difficult Week 1 situation, the possibility of losing John McKay, or the uncertainty surrounding these future contract extensions?